Calling a meeting to order at 6:02. This meeting is being broadcast live on BNC TV and live streamed on YouTube. To find BNC TV on YouTube, go to youtube.com and search for Bernardston-Northfield Community Television. This meeting will be available for later viewing by following the link at townofbernardston.org. You can also watch channel 1075 on your Comcast dial in Bernardston. First order of business is our warrants. I'll entertain a motion for the payroll warrant in the amount of $55,595.87.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I entertain a motion for the vendor warrant in the amount of $682,351.92.
So moved.
Second.
Biggest part of that is our regional school assessment, which was $608,253.13. All those in favor?
Aye.
I entertain a motion for the regular meeting minutes of March 20th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions, deletions, corrections?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Good. Calendar announcements. There'll be a Board of Health meeting Thursday, April 4th at 3:30 p.m. at the Town Hall. The Powers Institute Museum will be open for the upcoming season on Sunday, April 7th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Stop in and see the Powers Institute Museum and learn about the history of Bernardston. Open the first Sundays of each month, April through October, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The Pioneer Valley Regional School Solar Eclipse Viewing Event is on Monday, April 8th from 2:30 p.m. to 4:15 p.m. at the PBRS. Maximum obscuration takes place at 3:38 p.m. So give yourself and your family plenty of time to park and get settled. Don't forget to bring and wear Eclipse safety glasses. It is open to the public and all are welcome. We are delighted to announce that Mrs. Sarah Bernstein has been selected as the new BES principal. Mrs. Bernstein has served for the past 10 years as both the principal of Hillcrest Elementary School and the early childhood coordinator for the Gil-Montague Regional School District. Prior to serving in Gil-Montague, Mrs. Bernstein taught in the Frontier, Greenfield, and Newton Public Schools. Earth Day with Amy Donovan, Program Director of the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District, will answer questions about composting on Wednesday, April 17th at 12:15 p.m. at the Senior Center. The annual town meeting will be Monday, April 29th at 7 p.m., the barn at the farm table, 219 South Street in Bernardston. Do we have any citizens' concerns? Hearing none. The first order of business we have is the Bernardston Fire Water District. Good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
We had a discussion a few weeks ago about the Bernardston Fire Water District would like to buy some gas from Bernardston's Highway Department. If people don't already know it, this year we have installed a gas tank and a new diesel tank that's computerized to fuel our vehicles at the town instead of having to go to outside venues. And the Fire Water District has a vehicle that they use to go around the town to do their business, and they'd like to hook into this as well. It would save them money, and saving them money is saving us money because we wouldn't have to maybe raise the rates as much. So I'll read the agreement real quick. The fuel supply agreement is made as of the third day of April 2024 by and among the town of Bernardston and the Bernardston Fire and Water District. Whereas the town of Bernardston is willed to sell petroleum to the Bernardston Fire and Water District. Whereas the Bernardston Fire and Water District is desirous of buying petroleum from the town of Bernardston. Whereas the town of Bernardston agrees to sell and Bernardston Fire and Water District agrees to purchase some of its requirements for regular fuel at the Bernardston Highway Department fuel pump. Now therefore, in consideration of the mutual confidence of agreements contained herein, the receipt and sufficiency of which are hereby expressly acknowledged, the town of Bernardston and the Bernardston Fire Water Department District agree as follows. And it goes on to give the rules that they have to follow, termination type language. We can get it out at all times. Now, I want people to understand, we're not going into the business of selling fuel. This is and isn't a town entity. They're part of Bernardston. They take care of our water and stuff, so that's the reason why we're doing that. And per legal counsel, it is a legal purpose to do. We couldn't do something else, but we can do this one. So with that being said, I'll leave it up to the select board to decide what you want to do with it.
I'd make a motion to accept the fuel agreement between the town of Bernardston and the Bernardston Fire and Water District as written and authorize the chair to sign that agreement.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any questions for us?
No, sir.
Hearing none, you're all set to...
Thank you.
We have to sign it too. You both
Huh?
have to sign it.
Okay.
Where the red tab is, Aaron.
Do you need 2 copies, one for him to bring back with him?
I can pick up another one later.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Great. Gonna make your meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Good
Thanks,
afternoon.
Aaron.
And I believe we have Andrew Easton here to talk to us about the dugouts at Pratt Field.
Andrew, welcome. How you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good.
You're not playing ball tonight, are you?
No,
Not tonight.
not good.
What can we do for you?
So we've been in contact with Franklin County Technical School about they're looking to build dugouts, replace the ones that are at Pratt Field already. They're going to handle all the material costs and labor, and then they basically want to pour a pad, build dugouts that are same design construct as the ones that are currently there. That would also include storage for shovels and rakes and any other equipment.
Okay, now these that are dugouts that are there, now you're just gonna take them out?
Yep.
They're gonna be thrown down and replaced?
Yep.
Does anybody have any problem with this? I think it's a good idea myself.
They're gonna be similar to what's there,
Yep, exact same footprint.
footprint,
It just
but-
they'll be on a concrete pad.
and they're wooden structures,
Yep.
pre-treated,
Correct.
okay, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Just one word of caution, I'd say you might want to go to the water department just to give them a heads up. You're going to pour these pads.
Okay.
They may or may not have a concern about doing that. John?
Yeah, John.
That's a Zone 2 well site. Can you put concrete on a Zone 2 well site?
I don't know if you can, I don't know. You might be able to use a pad like for it only, maybe not to go the whole length. You're gonna have to check with the fire and
The
water.
water department would have that answer, definitely, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know we
You wouldn't
can't
wanna find
use
out.
certain fertilizers, there's a lot of things we can't do
right.
because that's the aquifer, so we have to pay attention to what we're doing. But I'm sure they'll work with you and
Yeah.
give you the right guidance on that.
It is a great idea, and it's the adult education at the tech school that's starting up again.
Yes.
So it's going to be the adults, not necessarily the students, just so people get that. There's 2 different programs that go on there. One for the high school type age kids, and there's adult education there as well. This is for the adult educated folks that are going to do that.
What are you gonna do with the demoed material?
As far as I know, that we'd have to talk to the Kiwanis about what they want to do with the material, and see if Justin, who's the program director there, see whether the word is salvageable or not.
Kiwanis? Why?
Believe
They who,
they own the
that's who
dugouts.
originally did it.
Yeah, I think they're the ones who originally did the dugouts.
And if there is a disposal problem, just come back to the town. I'm sure we can make something work for that.
Yep.
And the other contact person would be Brian Miner.
Yep.
He's-
He will
yeah.
definitely,
He's already been-
he'll
He's in.
definitely.
Yeah,
He's all in.
He was on the email chain.
He
saying
can
the
help
highway
you get rid of the
department
material if you
Yeah.
needed to.
Yeah, he's,
Great. Terrific idea.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a project. I was at the rec committee meeting the other night, and they were talking about it, and they're going to build storage into them. So that you can lump the truck a lot of their stuff back and forth. They'll be able to secure it into the dugout, so that'll be
Yep.
pretty handy.
Yes.
So to clear the zoning piece, he just needs to talk to fire and water, not our people?
no.
No? Okay.
It's for that whole Zone 2 recharge area, that's.
Okay,
They're not building a, what do you wanna call it, a structure that's
sure,
permanent. That
Just
can,
wanted
that
to-
structure can be moved if it has to be, so.
got it.
What does the existing seats sit on?
It's just,
Just grass?
Yeah, I think so.
Right to the ground?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why the cement would be the
Yeah.
issue. Okay,
Just
got it.
keep the longevity of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have to vote on that?
Make a motion to approve the construction of the dugouts, construct and install the dugouts at Pratt Field.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to allow the tech school to build some dugouts for the Pratt Field, and contingent on talking to the Fire and Water District for the cement pad. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's a great project, thanks for
Thank you.
doing that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, next up we have, I
What do you wanna call me?
no, because I was gonna announce your name, but I looked down here and I was about ready to say senior citizen. That's the next one.
Ouch!
That's right.
Sorry about that. John Lepore, Bill Montiglio, and Brad Bordeweek, please come up.
He's not a senior citizen.
You will be.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
You see when I turn the page, your name's up here, but right here is. So I want to. Okay, what can we do for you tonight, gentlemen?
Well, we're here to just touch base on, what we've been doing at the Cherry Farm lot. We try to do this like once a year or twice a year, just to keep you up to speed. And it's a place that's highly desirable, a lot of visitors. We have a sign-in log at the kiosk that people sign into, so you figure that for every signature, there's probably 10 people in addition to that aren't signing it. So we're getting quite a few, quite a few people. Our concern still exists about a couple things. One is trail erosion, which is going to be an ongoing problem. It's not going to go away. And then the other piece is, of course, the trees, the dangerous trees that we started talking about quite a while ago. And I'm personally, both Billy and I should say, we're both concerned about the amount of time it's taken to get to a point where we have a forest management plan and we've actually dealt with this problem. It's taken too long. We really would like to see it expedited and get to the next step. So we're here tonight to just talk about that and also to illuminate you in terms of how many hours we put in and what the value of that is worth to this town. And I saw on the town meeting that we're looking at senior citizen discount on property taxes.
Yeah, you have to be 80.
We'll get there. I'll live long enough just to get there.
Changing the rules already.
Right, of course, I know. Anyway.
First hour of the day, we generally feel that.
But anyway, yeah, just to talk about what we've been doing and you can see kind of a list, a rundown of what's going on. But
Yeah, it's quite a list.
so, what we'd like to see, of course, is to see the forest management plan finished up, get that signed. We want to review it and get it in the next month. And make it happen. We want to because we can't really start doing any tree removal until we have the forest management plan, is my understanding.
Okay, so what do we need to do to get that done?
Well, I put a recommendation on here to ask the tree warden, Brad, to get it to us by the end of the month. He said he had it mostly done. I
Can
don't
you
know.
do that?
I think so. So since the last time I met with you guys, I have worked with a UMass student, Mass Audubon, and DCR to try to develop a little bit more of like a wildlife habitat
Nice.
component to the plan.
Yeah.
And I also did all the field work. So the next step is to kind of put this draft together, which I would say is, from all the field work, is probably 80% done.
Perfect.
So as long as the state doesn't have questions for me, by the end of the month is easy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I also contacted Natural Heritage. They'll have a letter to us by Friday.
Did they give you any comments yet, or is that
No,
all
listen,
come in the letter?
we're gonna get the documentation, so.
So that might slow things down and add to the plan, because they tend to slow things down.
Right, but we do have to do that legally, right?
You didn't have to do it the way that you went about it, but it will all come about regardless. So,
Okay.
yeah, and what I mean by that is that when you submit a forest management plan or any sort of forest plan to the state,
Mm-hmm.
a copy of it goes to them.
Right.
They provide comments, and But the way you did it actually makes it so that we can add those comments before even submitting the draft.
Right, right. I
So-
think they send you a letter.
They do.
Natural heritage and endangered species, just so everybody's on the same page, has to basically acknowledge that if there are any endangered species on the site, and I believe they have to tell you what the species are.
They don't.
They don't, okay.
Usually do though.
Sometimes, so it depends. If it's like a development coming, they might not because they don't want someone to necessarily hurt or move the species to
Yeah.
affect the development. But
Sure.
in this case, they might.
Right.
It's site by site.
So I went ahead and did it because I'm also working on the OSRP, so Open Space and Recreation Plan, and one of the components is of course wildlife. So I thought, well, I'll just get it done, and then that way we have the paperwork. So just to save some time.
Okay, so it looks like we're on the same page here.
Yep.
So you also had the tree limb stuff though. That's different.
Yes. I think there's some kind of overlap to the two, aren't there?
Oh yeah, there's overlap. So we had talked a while ago about remember how we went out and marked the trees around the parking lot? So that stuff can, but doesn't have to be in with the forest management plan.
Okay.
And the reason I say that and bring it up here is because I know you guys are concerned about the trees around the parking lot. So if you wanted to have some sort of a sense of urgency to that may not come with a forest management plan. Because harvesting the trees will have to be weather dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have to have like dry, frozen, the right conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And that can take time, as you know, with Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Like if you were a logger that had a bad winter,
Right.
you wouldn't have been working very much and you wouldn't have gotten those removed.
Even if they're hazardous?
Right, because they're only coming with their equipment if there's money to be made doing the work.
Oh, so, gotcha.
So if they can't work because the ground conditions aren't right, you might not get those hazardous trees removed. And this doesn't have to be determined tonight, but food for thought that if you do want those down and the conditions aren't met within, say, the first year, it might make sense to have a tree company come or maybe have me work with the guys with the loader and make some of them a little safer. The other thing to consider is a lot of loggers won't want to work along that roadside because of the power lines, and their insurance is only cut out to be out in the woods,
Right.
which is a whole lot different than being roadside with pedestrians, cars, power lines, etc.
Yep.
Some guys will, some guys won't, but that will be something that we all have to walk and kind of scope out to see which trees along the roadside we want to remove for
Well,
safety reasons.
Well, we came up with 5 in a meeting that we had September 7th in 2022. So that was phase 1. There were 5 eastern white pines, 75 feet tall, in the parking area that could be removed by crane. That was our discussion. And
I
that's
don't remember the number, but yeah.
Yeah, and
remember
that was,
yeah.
and the price that was quoted was $56.80. So I guess that's the pressing one is the parking lot, because that's where people would be hanging out, or with cars or whatever.
Do you remember how many of those were taken down with that work we did this past summer? Were any of them?
No,
No?
you took down the ash. That one you recorded as the price of $900, and you did do that. It's all set. It's still sitting there. The log's still sitting there, waiting for somebody to come and get
I
it.
thought somebody would have taken it by now.
Me too.
We also took down, I think, a cherry, a maple, and a couple of pines.
Yeah.
But those
I
were
don't
more
remember the
roadside,
pines. Right. Okay.
not
There
so
were
much
some
the
pines,
parking
right.
lot.
But I think the parking lot was the big concern.
Yes.
Because there's some stuff there. But yeah.
Bill had said something about it being near a kiosk too, right?
Absolutely. What we found was these branches, and I brought a set of photographs if you care to see them, were basically scattered all around the kiosk, narrowly missing it. And you'll see from their size, it was probably large enough where had it hit the kiosk, it probably would have done some damage. And if it had hit a car or a person, it definitely would have. But just to clarify, back in 2022, wasn't it agreed that we had to link the work done in the parking lot, to be done in the parking lot, to the forest management plan? Wasn't that part of the reason why it hadn't been done yet?
It
Am
certainly
I
would.
mistaken on that?
It would be financially viable to do it that way because then you wouldn't have to pay for it. You'd be getting paid for it.
Which I believe was the motivation.
Right.
And that's why we all agreed to take their route, correct?
I would stick with it if we can, but bear in mind, because I know you guys are particularly concerned with those pictures, that it might take some time, and if it's urgent, we might have to change our mind down, be flexible with the decision, I guess.
Well, I think we also came and.
Can I see the picture?
Yeah.
I think we also came and
Okay.
talked about getting the forest management plan done first and then kind of reconvening with what was gonna happen. That was kind of like the order of operations from our meeting. I couldn't find the minutes for our meeting that we had back in, I think it was December of '22.
Was it a select board meeting?
The select board meeting, we discussed that,
They're online.
yeah. So, I didn't spend a lot of time looking for that,
Yeah, I'll find them.
but,
Okay, December 14th, it says in your timeline.
yeah, that's
You were at the
when we
select
met.
board
Yeah, that's when we
to
met.
discuss the Florida stewardship plan,
Right,
so it might be in those minutes.
Okay.
yeah. I just noticed that they're all listed now on the website.
Yeah, but not 22.
Not
only
22.
24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to clarify, we have a set of 3 photographs you brought along. The first one you'll see, it looks like a pile of brush. And to clarify, they didn't all fall in the same spot. They're scattered around the kiosk, and our third member, Kathy Montilio, kindly piled them up for us.
Okay.
The second one is meant to show the diameter of at least one of the pieces, which would probably give you a pretty good headache that had it landed.
Well, it might be expedited tonight.
And the third is, let's call it the sword of Damocles. It's a pretty good sized branch
Oh.
that's broken off and hanging.
They call that a widowmaker.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those in the woods along the trail. We're trying to stay up. Billy and I take care of the stuff that's on the trail that we can manage. We feel like we can manage. But there are some things that we just don't want to manage. They need to be done by a professional like you. And it's like kind of hit and miss. We're seeing a lot of blowdowns with all these winds.
Yeah.
And between the wind and the ice, so it's a continuous problem. It's not going to go away until we get in there, and we're lucky enough to have it, logged out.
White pines, actually, they're known to self-prune,
Mhm.
and so wind, snow, all of the above will go through, and I actually saw them. They'll bounce against each other, break off the weaker
Yep.
branches, and
Yep.
they're designed to do that.
Sure they are.
So you could have a crane come in, spend thousands of dollars and remove a widowmaker, and that next week, there'll be 5 more. And unfortunately, it is what it is with those particular trees.
Yeah, I guess it's mainly along walkways that we're concerned about, particularly going, the walkway if you're familiar with it, the walkway going to the, what do we call it, the Talus Trail, which goes along the south boundary, it goes through that pine area. That seems to be the worst of it. Goes from, you're familiar with what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. In terms of just there being a lot of trees, or a lot of pines that have reached maturity and are dead, the number of blowdowns now is escalating because they're so close and they're so tall. And they are self-pruning, but they do need to be dealt with just to prevent a hazard. So,
Okay, sounds like that'll be worked out with the management plan, hopefully.
Okay, anything else for us?
we put on there, okay, so we're good with moving forward on the forest management plan. We'll have something by the end of April that we can review and then hopefully have it submitted by the beginning of May. So we all in agreement?
Do we have any idea of what monies we might be talking about down the road to get everything completed, if there is cost?
I wasn't expecting that question.
Oh,
Not in the near future, no. Right? Can you think
No,
of it?
the only ones we talked about at the time were the parking lot in terms of, and then we were gonna meet again. I'm relying on my memory, which is probably no better than anybody else's here. But my memory says that we were gonna get those trees out of there, the hazardous trees in the parking lot. We were gonna get the forest management plan done, like as soon as we could. And then, once the forest management plan, we were gonna move forward, obviously, with the logging and dealing with the other fees. I think that was the order that we talked about, but again. What would it cost to take the trees down in the parking lot?
That one's at $5,600
Between 5 and 10 grand.
in
Yeah.
22.
Which hopefully, again, if all of the, ducks in a row, it could happen with the logging, we could actually get paid for them. So, yeah. If everything, and we also talked about potentially looking into some grants.
Right.
So we could, yeah.
And I mean, the same concern really is around a lot of town roads where Brad's dollars do have to get spent too.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, over by the cemetery, there's always trees coming out of those maples.
Yep.
Maybe sidewalk in town, Cushman Park, so it's very limited resources he has.
Yep.
So if we took $6,000 or $7,000 out of that, Brad's all done for the year.
Right. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I know. I know money is tight.
Part
I
of
know
the
it's a lot
play.
to ask, yeah.
Is that it's not just, we can just dump it all right at the parking lot, unfortunately.
Right, right. Well, we do have money for maintenance in the charity farm lot fund. That was, I think, gonna be the source for the majority of that, and that, remember, we went through a whole legal thing around that to make sure that we could maintain the site.
Might be something you wanna look at, when you sit down, when you guys sit down and go through the rest of your ARPA stuff, it might be something that you might wanna think about. I'm not saying to do it, but I'm
Right.
saying it might be a thought process because of the safety, and that would be a good use of those funds because it's improving
One time.
the area for the residents,
And it's for outdoor.
for outdoor recreation, so.
Good
This
point.
is something to think about, guys, it's on. Okay, anything else to come before us?
I have something that's not related to the charity lot.
Oh, it's
But
not?
I can go back and sit down until you're ready.
You can sit there until the town meeting.
That's fine.
It doesn't
No,
really-
no, bring it up right now.
The last time, is the charity lot stuff all? Do you have any more questions?
I just wanted to talk about appointments, but it did not,
That might not have been the meeting, yeah.
that was not the meeting where we actually discussed I guess, the details of that, so.
You could probably see it on TV if you go to BNC TV,
You give me the date, I can give you the minutes.
and just bring up the date, September 14th. You'll,
Right, I don't have time to sit in front of the television doing that, to be frank.
okay, well, I'll just say that's.
Sure, yeah.
That's it.
You gonna touch upon the trail maintenance?
Oh, the trail maintenance, yeah, real quickly, the trail maintenance, Brian walked the site with us, we're gonna repair.
Brian
Minor.
Minor.
Brian Minor,
We
sorry.
get too many Brians in this.
It's like Bill.
Yeah.
Too many Bills.
Bill.
But it just full of them.
Anyway, yeah, thank you. The superintendent, road superintendent, Brian Minor, very generous. He walked the whole site with us, and we looked at where he could come in, and he wanted to buy a load of stone to work on these water bars and to do some filling. We're getting some more erosion, and his suggestion was to get a full truckload, dump it up in the open area, and then use some of it for repairs this year, and as needed, we would repair, we could use it in the future, so we wouldn't have to go back and get another whole big load with it, so.
We're looking for approval this evening for the $500.
Do we need approval on that?
What's that?
For the $500 for Brian to, no?
No, you guys.
We have money in our
Yeah, you have
budget.
$1,000, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, remember we put that in a couple years ago,
Right,
so you would
yeah.
have a certain amount that you just could get your
Right,
work done.
okay.
You can spend that for
Okay, I
whatever
didn't-
on the
So
site.
we're
Yep.
good to go?
okay, great. I guess we're all done then. Thank you. So we're all set on the other piece with getting the forest management plan in.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other piece is, when that management plan comes in, we'd like to also get a copy of it, so we see that it has actually come back.
Yep.
Okay.
We wanna make sure that everything's ready to rock and roll, and then we can meet again and talk about what the next steps would be. Does that make sense, Brad?
I'll probably reach out to you guys and connect with you, and then we can come to them.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, sounds good. But thank you again for
Thank you.
the hard work that you guys do up there.
We need the exercise.
If you give me the date, I can look up the minutes.
I thought I had most of
Brad,
the
what
dates.
can we do for you?
I have 3 small
If you need
follow-ups.
something, it's gotta be.
Over at Pratfield, we talked about those maple trees, and you asked me at the last time I came in front of you guys to reach out to the water department to see
Yeah.
if they were all right with that parking lot going in. And I spoke to Aaron Bedine and Bill Pachalis, and they both we're good to go there, so they are on board with that happening.
Okay.
And I also spoke with the police chief about the enforcement of the non-parking.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure where it ended, but he was working with Karen on.
Yeah, we're gonna put that on the town warrant. Jimmy's come up with a plan, so he has to have a bylaw that gives him the some meat so he can do something.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to get that passed at the town meeting, and that will be in place. And then you guys can decide how you're gonna, what you're gonna put up for signs or whatever, whatever Jim decides at that point, how to do it.
It does continue to be a problem. Every day
Yeah.
I drive by over there and there's cars parked right in between the two sides.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, really?
Right.
You're looking right at it.
So can we purchase that material to do the parking lot when it's like to fit it in between projects with the highway guys?
We need to have a cost of the material,
3,500 was the cost I gave you guys last year.
3,500, it's up to the.
Yeah, we were just
gentleman
waiting for the decision on the water department, which we got.
Make a motion to authorize the expenditure of $3,500 to instruct to purchase the stones,
Do it from
Gravel,
ARPA.
yeah.
gravel, for the parking lot at Pratt Field.
You want to do that from ARPA or?
Yes.
I'll second that.
here. Motion made and seconded to purchase material, stone from, the highway department will purchase them for the Pratt Field parking lot. And the funds of $3,400 will come out of the ARPA funds. All those in favor?
Aye.
You're all set on that?
And
Thanks
the
for doing the
last,
footwork.
sorry, what?
Thanks for doing the footwork with the water department too.
Yeah. The last question or issue I wanted to bring up was I've been getting, and Karen was in on this too, the folks over on Merrifield Road have reached out to me, and it sort of ramped up to a level where I really thought it should be brought to you guys as far as how to handle it. And I reached out to Brian Miner, and he was sort of on the same page as me that we should kind of wash our hands of this one. I'm not on board with taking any of the town trees that are left. I think enough of them have been taken down over there, with or without our permission. And the ones that are left, I looked at them, and they're all in perfectly fine shape. So as the tree warden, I don't support taking any more down. And they had mentioned excavating out like a culvert to move water from their property that they didn't want there, and in order to excavate it out the way they want, it would end up killing these town trees, which is the same thing as taking them down. So I didn't support that either, and I did recommend that they either do like I don't know if I mentioned a rain garden, but I suppose they could do something like that if they wanted to get cute with the landscaping. Or I had actually also recommended that they put in some trees that would suck up the water, kind of like the ones that were taken down. But they didn't really, they weren't very receptive to that idea, and I'm not really sure how you guys want to handle this moving forward.
I just wanted to, this is the address of, she was here as a citizen concern, Janice. So I just wanted, it was the same.
Yeah, we got the email chain.
Yep.
Oh,
it
you
is.
were on it as well? Oh,
And your response was perfect, really. It was awesome. I mean, you offered up a lot of different options, willing to help. But I agree. I mean, I've been down there. There's nothing wrong there.
I'm gonna follow the recommendation of our highway superintendent and our tree warden.
Yeah, I'd be with you.
I mean, plant trees, put them back. I mean, that's and the other thing is, how far over is from the center of the road is that? I mean, do we have boundaries there? Do we know where the boundaries are?
Well, Brian could probably tell us.
Brian knows where they are, yeah.
Okay. Okay, no, we're not gonna put any more expense into it. This tree shouldn't have been taken down in the first place.
Correct.
Correct.
So, true wrongs don't make a right, and I'm just not gonna ruin somebody else's property or the rest of our trees for that.
And they're definitely gonna have to get on the other neighbor's property to do what they're thinking they wanna do.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a whole nother challenge, even if we let them do it.
I believe Brian Miner even referenced having to bring in DEP because you'd be moving water and installing culverts, and
Right.
yeah, it could mess with his chapter 90 because you'd be going out of the road too.
No, and you also have to get probably conservation.
Right.
Yeah.
So, very good, that's a little.
I think you've done a great job with that, really.
Right.
All right.
Okay, thank you, my friend.
Okay.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, under new business,
Brad.
we have a senior citizens tax work-off program that the town is thinking about getting involved in. This program would allow people over the age of 60 to do some work for the town, and instead of getting paid, they would actually get money up to $1,500 taken off of their property taxes. There's a lot to it. We're gonna talk about this at I'm assuming at the town meeting. It's not gonna be an easy thing to control. Would have to have a person that would head it up, and I think the right person to head this up would be Jen, seeing that she has had experience with this in the last place that she worked.
This is Jen Reynolds.
Jen Reynolds. And go from there. And I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on it.
I think it's an awesome program. I think it's gonna be a ton of work to get started. I mean, I did go through the mass.gov, which has a bunch of recommendations on starting these. Some of the cautions that are in here too. These folks do become town employees. They do have to get a W-2. They do have to pay federal tax, which the town has to keep and send in on their behalf. So there will be some expense to the town to do it. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it because of that. I'm just saying we have to see if the town wants us to pursue going down that avenue, in my opinion, and then put these in place. The assessors are gonna have a huge involvement with it as well, because they're gonna have to do, it's not a traditional abatement of your tax bill because you're working it off. There's certain rules that apply around that. We're gonna have to get legal involved to help us be sure we're following all the correct bylaws of this community and/or instate those bylaws according to the mass.gov site. And just so people can keep in the back of their heads, the schools can't be part of this. So you can't go, because we're a regional school district, they can't volunteer at BES and get credit for that. It's a violation of state and federal law to do that. I think we have plenty of places to do it. I just think we don't want to say at town meeting it's going to start July 1st. I don't think we ever could get that off the ground. I think it's going to take 6 months to a year to put everything in place. That's just my opinion, reading through it. I think it's a great program though.
It's a calendar year program, too,
Yeah.
not a fiscal year.
Which is another challenge for everybody, and it involves overlays. That's where the money has to get set aside to put the limits on it, so there's money there to not affect the bottom line of the budget.
You can control the amount of people that can, you can
Right.
cap on the
Income
number.
limits.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
all that
lot you
stuff
can
that we
do.
have to develop,
Yeah.
which is just gonna take time.
And it's veterans too. There's a
And I'm
veterans
sure
one,
there's
and
other
there's,
municipalities around here that we could mimic what they've done and
Right,
Well, Amherst
See how it
would be
works.
one. I mean, that's where she came from.
Right.
yep.
I mean, I'm sure we can put it in play, it's just, people hear it, I don't want them to think it's gonna start in 2 months,
Right.
3 months, it's
No.
gonna take
No,
a
no,
while.
no.
Believe we do have a program already in place in town for people over 70. And I'm not gonna give you the amount of money that you have to be under to qualify. If you have a question on getting help with your taxes, I would suggest talking to the assessor, because they have the information on that, but we do have a program in a way that can help people over the age of 70 with their real estate taxes. You have a question?
I did, about this program, so, and you probably have the state law, you said right there. So to give you a ceiling of $1,500 on the money side, is there a floor to how many hours that volunteer has to put in for that 1,500?
That's all part of the rules we would have to
Okay.
establish.
All right.
You
Like,
know,
I
once,
wouldn't wanna see somebody just do
Right.
6 hours and you get $1,500
No.
bucks.
you know, these,
I think it's a minimum of 20.
yeah, and
something
it
like
looked like you set an hourly rate basically for their work, to work toward it. That would be agreed upon by everybody,
Sure. Okay.
is what it looked like.
And just to take it a step further, veterans are also,
Yep.
this is a program also for veterans. And it doesn't specify if the veteran has to be 60 or not. I think there's a lot to it, and we'll have to get more, and Brian's already read quite a bit of it. And hopefully the rest of us will get up to speed on it before town meeting. So if there is questions, we can hopefully answer them. And maybe somebody from the assessors department could, if this is brought to them, so they could look into it
Yeah,
and
that's
see
a
what,
good idea.
in general.
what they'd be doing or how it would affect them.
I think Jen did offer it up the other night when she was here. 'cause
Jen
worked
would
with
love
these
to run this
programs.
program. Yeah, there's no, so, but as far as maybe answering questions at town meeting, I'm gonna
But
tell.
she might have some information
Yeah.
on
I think she'd be the
what are the
perfect,
income limits and things like that that
Yes,
she's seen
she has
before.
lots of, yep,
I think she'd be the perfect person to.
yeah.
And I believe the vet stand, from what I read, it's any age for a
Right,
vet.
there's, yeah, you just have to be honorable, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with that, people gotta keep in mind, it's like a double-edged sword, kinda. because anything you take off real estate tax it affects what the town can actually spend, so it could affect budget process as
So
well.
that was gonna be my next question.
So
So if 20 people max out their benefit of $1,500, where are you getting that?
You have to cut.
The town would have to design their cap.
Yep.
Let's say we said it could be $100,000, let's just say. The assessors would have to create an overlay account for that. So if we use $25,000 through this program, that would offset their tax
Okay, so
dollars.
you've been reading.
So it looks like it's a pretty well laid out program. It's
Right.
everything's there, because I was at first like, okay, what happens if you lose 100,000 in your budget? Well, you have to create an overlay. It's not the abatement account, it's a whole separate
Right.
overlay account for that. But the town can set the cap.
Okay, anything else on that one? Okay, moving on to the Town of Vernon transfer station usage. The Town of Vernon has contacted us and they're reaching out to see if we would consider allowing their residents to use our transfer station. There's approximately 960 residents participating in curbside service now in Vernon from the company that we see their trucks around here, Casella, I believe. And the price has gone too high, so they can't afford it anymore. And they're looking at different options, and they've come to our facility and asked if we could possibly help them out and allow their residents to go there. Now, we wouldn't have 960 residents that would be coming to the transfer station. But we also don't know how many at this point that would even utilize it. So I'm not sure where we want to go with this. I know that the permit specifies that one we have now that it's just Bernardston and Leiden, so we'd have to modify that to include Vernon. But I'd want a little bit more information from Brian as to how would we do this, how we would control it, would we have to add more personnel at the transfer station? Because if you had more people, would that create a backup at the transfer station, so people would be having to wait in line longer than they are now, and the lines now aren't really that long. So
There's a lot, and I think the solid waste district will have a lot of answers.
Yes, and I got the answers.
I'm not sure how like the mattress disposal works if they're coming from a different state, because the rules are different from
Right.
Vermont to Mass,
Right.
things like that.
But as far as the state lines, there's no issues with that. There's no rules or anything that would be broken by coming from Vermont to Massachusetts. There, of course, there's a recognized increase in tonnage, but that does not affect our current contract. We would just be rolling in and out more of the, whatever they're called, I'm sorry,
The dumpsters,
the dumpsters, that's it.
containers. whatever.
So, and Brian personally does not think it would increase the hours or affect, it would not cost him anything, basically, is what he's saying as far as increase in labor, or work, or wages, or,
that would
So-
increase our hauling fees.
Yes, it will.
but it's gonna be factored in with the permitting process of the town. So, and I think Jane Amin would be the one that would construct the permitting process. And one of the ideas that Brian was talking with me about was letting Vernon do their own permits there, so the money would come forward. They wouldn't come to Bernardston and get their permit. It would be issued, the town of Vernon would issue our permits in their town. So the money would be come up forward.
We'd have to figure the fees for all that, because we do contribute
75, right.
significant. I mean,
So,
I
yeah,
don't think
we could-
75 might not be enough.
Right, exactly, and then that comes into play with increase,
I mean, because bag fees definitely doesn't cover it. I'm not sure the $75 will.
right,
We do contribute a significant town funds to the transfer station.
yeah. So I'm just like, it doesn't look, it's your, basically looks like you can do it if you wanna do it.
Well, we need more
based-
for- I
And
think
working
it's-
out these bugs.
If it works out, great.
Yeah,
It just can't cost us any money
right
to
on.
do it.
I just wanna let you know that
If
they
we
got
make a
some of
buck
the answers
and they
back.
still can do it, that's even better.
I'm not interested.
I think it's gonna be a lot of work for Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, let them look into it further, let them get with Jan, give us some more information on it, and we'll go from there. BES stove replacement. Okay, this stove is, I've heard of Singer, but I've never heard of them making stoves, but I guess they do. Is for $2,455.22. And I guess they wanting to know if we are going to purchase it or if, what, why.
I think at the joint meeting on Monday night, we had discussions about this stove, and if I remember right, Jane was gonna reach out to Jordan and say it was maintenance because it's under $5,000, which has always been the school's
Right.
take of where capital begins and the town takes over. And this is well below that
I
number,
see.
so the school should be paying for that.
Ah,
And in light of the fact that the school's lunch program is paying for a new freezer at Northfield Elementary School, we paid for our own 3 or 4 years ago. You know, that's gonna be an $18,000 freezer at the elementary school. I think they can buy the $2,500 stove.
Okay, so send it back.
That's just
in.
my opinion.
Send it back that way then.
I'm pretty sure Jane was gonna reach out to him.
Yes,
on
that was the strategy.
I didn't know any of that, so
Yeah.
I thought we were just buying it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We'll find out though.
Yep.
On March 19th, 2024, the town clerk received a resignation from the Recreation Commission from Carrie Beard.
Baird,
Huh?
Baird.
Baird, effective March 19th, 2024. We would like to thank Carrie for her time with the Recreation Commission. Carrie is also an active member on the Bernardston Conservation Commission, so she will still be involved in helping the town. I have been here long enough to know that the volunteers on our boards and committees and commissions are the backbones to the greatness of Bernardston, and we thank all of you for your volunteerism to service. Make a motion to accept Carrie's resignation.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye. If you can send a letter out for that one, Karen. like you usually
Sure.
do.
Time off request. Okay.
The public facility use application you have, you already approved that. It's the United Arc for the race, so that's just the paperwork
Okay.
portion.
Motion to accept the time off.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And just pass this down, you guys, oh, we should all sign this front page. Karen, did you make this form, or?
Yes,
Okay, so this is, we now have an official facility use application
There
form.
you go. Making progress.
Perfect. That's awesome.
And we have one in here for, what is this about?
it might have been in there accidentally. I'm not sure.
Okay, moving on. Old business, Game Time School Playground. The grant for Game Time School grant is actually a school funded promotion, not a grant program. For a limited time, Game Time is offering up to $125,000 in funding toward the purchase of eligible play systems for schools. Game Time handpicked 18 designs that promote physical activity and inclusion, encourage social interaction during play, and give students the edge that they need. Now, I think she's put them in here in the book.
Yes,
And Karen has submitted this, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with this one, but it's a good deal, and naturally, if it comes in, we'd probably have to come up with some money from the town to help pay for this. But the other thing is too, if we can get the school committee to get their people to start looking for, what do I call it, raising money to help defer the cost of this playground. That would be nice. Okay, town administration report.
Okay, so the surplus equipment, the chairs at the senior center, I told you last time we were here that they were purchased for $130, and the gentleman from New Jersey was coming to pick them up. Well, I think it fell through. He never came and picked them up, and
That's too bad.
I think Jen's having a hard time getting a hold of them. So we're probably gonna put the chairs back up for bid. John Lively, the locksmith, will be here tomorrow to change the locks on all the town buildings, meaning Cushman Library, the Town Hall, Senior Center, and DPW, just to let you know. So the locks will all be changed tomorrow on those 4 buildings. The Franklin County Regional Retirement System annual report was just sent out for 2022. And I just wanted to, apparently they published theirs a year later. It's on a year delay on purpose for some reason, but they didn't meet the deadline for our booklet, so our report. So I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that their report is not in our annual town report, but it is available for at the Franklin Regional Retirement System website. It's hung there, so but I just wanted to let you know that that's missing in our annual town report. That's all I have.
Okay, on the other business, we had Snow and Sons visiting us last week. Terry and I walked around the town hall, the library, and the memorial down at Cushman Park. And as you see the quotes in front of you, the one that was for memorial, I talked to Marvin Shedd, who is in charge of the memorial in the committee there, and he says no on that. And I gotta go along with Marvin. If Marvin says that his committee can take care of it and make it happen, I believe that he will definitely do that, so we can disregard the one for the memorial if you would so desire.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing is the one for the town hall. Maybe we can perhaps get somebody around town hall to take care of that.
Yeah, Karen and I had a
We got it.
conversation about
Yeah,
that.
I'll
A
volunteer
bunch
to
of us
take
are
it.
gonna kick in to do
Yes.
that.
Okay, now, the thing with the library, we have at some point, we have a new librarian coming on. I would like to see if we can come up with the funds for taking care of the library with Snow and Sons, seeing that they did such great work for us last year, and this would be the follow-up year to get this stuff. And that would be the only one that we would be doing, and that one would be coming at, I have to look at these to make sure I'm looking at the right, that would come in at $2,292.
Now, the brush cut back on the foundation, is that something that Brian Miner and Brad were gonna do or not?
Well, I asked Brian to do it I thought he'd have it done by now because of the winter we've had, but it hasn't been done. But that was $304, I think, to just do that cut. So I had him take that out of this one. But I feel that this would be something that we should follow through for at least for another year and get that done. Now, I'm going to bring up a couple things, and it's probably, I'm not trying to upset people, but I want you to know there's ways that we can pay for this stuff. Now, the Barber Fund has $117,000 of unrestricted funds in it that we can use. And I plan on, at the town floor, bring that up to still use it for the Recreation Commission instead of raising and appropriating for it. Because I think that when we're trying to do things and trying to move forward in a tight year, that when we have $117,000 just sitting there, that's unrestricted and can be used for these purposes, that's what we should be doing, not raising and appropriating if we don't have to. Now, under that will, it says, number one, it can be used for building a library. Number two, it can be used for expanding the library, been putting an addition on. Number 3, it can be used for recreational fields, putting in new skating rinks, that type of thing. And if it's not used for any of those, then it goes back to the selectmen are the ones that are in charge of it for the town. We're the ones that decide if we're going to bring that recommendation to the town or not. So it comes back to the selectmen, and the selectmen decide how much they want to use out of that fund. I don't think we abuse it, and I think the people out there listening would agree that if it's there, we should probably go ahead and use that money. Wanted to bring that up, and I want to know your thoughts on it, but I'll let you go from there.
As far as your earlier thoughts, the use of the Barber Fund, we've used it for the rec department to offset the expenses there to keep those costs in line.
What's that again? I can't.
Using the Barber Fund for the recreation department to offset their expenses in the past has been very appropriate. And this year, because of the difficult times, the tight budget, we had a conversation at last Monday's combined finance and select board meeting, how to best use those funds and save them potentially for a really tight year as opposed to just a tight year. I don't at all object to using the Barber Fund for maintaining the library this year. We put a lot of energy, a lot of hours, a lot of dollars to make the library, bring it back to something we can be proud of. So I would agree with you. I think we have to cherry pick what we want to do and at the library as far as this quote, rather than just accepting the full boat of it. But we want to send a message to the library trustees that we are supporting them, that once we fixed it, we want to keep it fixed. Mm-hmm. So, and if that also includes, I think there's still some more work along Library Street that needs to get done, and the maintenance of the highway department has that, I think has plans for that as well, along with the tree warden. Net out of all of that, I can support your using the Barber Fund for some of this activity for Snow and Sons at the town hall, at the library.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. We do want to keep that up now. The place looks great right now. Let's not
It does.
lose it.
I just didn't want to blindside anybody.
Nope, that's fine.
I'm going to let you know that I am going to bring that up on the town floor, because I believe the townspeople are going to say, you've got that money and you're telling us you want us to raise and appropriate $5,000 when you've got 117 sitting there. You're not taking a lot out of it. And we haven't taken anything out of it for, oh God, I don't know, 3-4 years now?
Thought we used it last year for.
Huh?
I thought we used
No.
it last year for the assistant.
No, we raised and appropriated.
Okay.
We raised and appropriated the year before. So, huh? What?
Yeah, I don't think you're right, accurate in that.
I am, okay, well, I could stand wrong in that. I know, I'm reading the one for, wait a minute. I know we used it in 2008, 2009, 2010. But it's not like it's a big amount of money. It's not like you're draining the thing down. You're not even coming close to draining it down. You're using just a small percentage of it.
But we could say the same about stabilization too. I mean,
That's correct, but this is money you don't have to pay back.
this is a year that's tight, but it's not extremely tight.
Well, we'll let the townspeople decide that.
Yep, sounds good. So what do we want to spend money on as far as Snow and Sons for the library? Which ones of these numbers?
All of them.
Straight up, and you had made mention of the brush cut back foundation.
We took that out.
So not all of them. Mm-hmm. Eliminate that, because my copy has that still in it.
Yeah. Because I remember I thought Brad and the highway were going to do something there.
Okay.
So Stan, is it everything but the cutback, and I can go back to the quote, back to Snow and Sons?
Asking for a new quote, and we'll authorize that. And to expend, Brian, go ahead.
It's good to go back to the Barber Fund. In 2021, we appropriated $4,000 from that fund to the rec. In 2022, we appropriated $3,758 from the Barber Fund to the
Okay.
rec. In 2023, we appropriated $2,000 from the Barber Fund to the rec. And in
So we've
2000
been doing it, and we've
So
got so we got $117,000, and then we're not even using it this year.
2024 is the only year we haven't
Oh.
done it.
No, something's wrong there, because we had the argument here, and Jane said that we made a decision, and Bob Raymond, in fact, when I talked to him the other day, he said, I remember we made a decision not to use it for the salaries of the rec department, but to raise and appropriate the salary part of it. So though we could have used those funds for something else for the rec commission.
Absolutely.
But not the salaries.
Right.
We've been raising and appropriating for the salaries. Now, this year, we're still raising $5,000, raising and appropriating $5,000 for the rec club for salaries. But I'm saying, no, we don't need to do that. And the townspeople can go against me, but I'm gonna bring it to the townspeople and let them decide if they're gonna do it, because I think it's, my personal thing, I think it's foolish.
Didn't you just say, though, that a decision was made at some point to pay salaries as raise and appropriate, not from the Barber Fund?
Did I say that?
Yes, you
No,
did.
I didn't, no. I said, let me go back, I'm getting a little excited here, so calm down.
It's all good.
The monies that you're talking about probably there are things that we raised and appropriated for different items for the Recreation Commission. We voted, I don't know, Bob Raymond was on the board. Bob Raymond remembers this. We voted to take money from the Barber Fund for the recreational salaries, pay them out of recreation
I
salaries.
remember it the other way.
Oh,
That
that's
we,
what-
we voted to always raise and appropriate for salaries,
Yes,
not to use Barber Fund.
correct.
That's what I'm saying. We voted to take, raise and appropriate, we used to take it out of the Barber Fund.
Not salaries.
Yes, we used to take, we never had anything on the warrant before. You go back to 2008,
And
2009.
there was a point in time where a decision was made to always raise and appropriate
Okay, we'll
for
go to
salaries.
townspeople, because I think it's foolish if you got that kind of money. We're sitting there, we're not gonna use it for anything else.
Well, let's just dump the stabilization fund too, if that's the
Well,
thought process.
that's fine, but it's not even the same
Put our
thing.
bank to zero.
It's not even the same thing.
It's money in the bank.
It's,
It's just like the stabilization fund.
well, okay, so,
I can tell you, just from experience on the finance committee, the reason we said, let's raise and appropriate salaries is those are never going to go away. Someday, that $117,000 is going to go away, and you're going to have to raise and
you got
appropriate.
$351,000, and you can only bring it down to 50, period, and then it has to build back up. So it's never gonna go away if you follow the thing, so let's stop that bull crap. So $351,000 is sitting in there. $117,000 we've got from interest because we don't use it that much, so it keeps building up every year. And we're sitting here saying, just forget about it. I'll have the townspeople to say if they want to forget about it. Okay, moving on.
So the action step on this particular one is we're going to get a corrected copy of the contract for the library to eliminate the 304 of brush cutback
We have a
foundation.
corrected copy.
We
You
do?
didn't give them a corrected copy?
I don't, no, this one still has, the corrected copy, revision still has the cutback on it,
Yes. It's the last item on page 2.
No. This is-
and I don't have that one.
This is a different one.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
must have printed the
if
wrong
that's the
one. That's
case,
the
then
one
let's
that's
make a
been- that's
motion
one
to
that's been
accept the
corrected.
one that you got in your right hand.
Huh?
Yep.
I'd make a motion to accept the contract and authorize you to sign it. $128,266 and $874 in the amount of $2,292, and use the funds from the Barber Fund to pay for this.
Okay.
Second.
Let me have it.
Okay, motion made and seconded on the floor to take, give me that number again,
292.
292?
Yep, 2,292.
2,292 out of the Barber Fund to pay for the landscaping around the library. All those in favor?
Aye. You need to sign this, please.
Okay, I think, guys, you want to go through that host community grant for the?
I haven't read it all yet.
Neither have I.
Can we make a
so-
motion to pass over the host community agreement to the,
Oh, sure,
so we can have a little more time to read it?
of course.
I don't think there's a place here for me to sign.
Next meeting I'll add it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That'll give us time.
April 17th.
Okay, so we're gonna redo that one. ATM draft 2, okay, you guys have been able to go through the,
Yeah, I didn't have much. I mean, I'm not the grammatical person, but
I didn't see much.
the only one I had that I emailed Jane about was one of her charts here for the snow and ice. We talked about changing that number the other night.
Oh, it didn't get changed?
She just missed changing it, so she's gonna go back and change it
Okay.
on page 9.
Sending this to Donna is the next step in this process?
Yes.
Is there a reason we couldn't send it to Donna and still make edits, wordsmithing, whatever else?
Of course we can, because you can amend any one of these
Great.
things on a town
Okay.
floor.
I make a motion that we send the current draft
Yep.
with the edits that Brian Keir has provided to Donna as soon as possible so she can start her work on that.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Now,
Anything else?
yeah, we got, I have, in the last couple of days, I've been talking to people. I reached out for the person that was, passed out the, or started the, what do I call it?
Petition?
Petition, to see what is the concerns. Concerns are naturally taxes. People are fed up. And I can't say everybody's fed up. I'm just saying people that I've talked to are fed up. We have spent tremendous amount of money in the budget over the last 5 years. Budget's gone up $1.7 million. And one thing they want is to see the assessment reduced in half of what, whatever the increase was, to cut that back to half. I did explain that we don't have a lot to do with the assessments. I tried to explain some of the other articles, what is going on in the town and what we are facing as a town. And it's going to be, like I told them, it's going to be up to them as we go through the warrant on March 29th to
April 29th?
raise their hand and question it and ask us to take that out of the budget if they see something that they don't want to be in the budget. That's the right process to go through with that. I also told the people that on April 17th, we will read through the warrant. Now, here's a kicker. When you look at, and when you look at the way Northfield does it, their finance committee's on television. So everybody gets to hear the conversation and what is being talked about and the dollar amounts that everybody is talking about, getting everything. We don't have that here. So on that meeting on the 17th, I would like us to go through the warrant like we have in the past, but when we come to explain them, not just go through them, but take the time to explain them. And whether we agree or don't agree on an article or what the monies are, we need to let the people know. And I think if we do that, we'll probably eliminate a lot of questions, and people understand that we're not that far off. I know we have reduced the budget. However, when you're talking going from 1563 down to, 1653 down to 1599, that's really not a lot on a the budget maybe for a $200,000 house, that's maybe $100 that they're gonna see reducing their taxes. So that's my thoughts on it. I'm hoping you guys would go along with that.
Yeah, I think last few years we have read through it, and I think
Yes,
that's
you-
worked out well. And I do, hey, at the end of the day at town meeting floor, the residents are the ones we work for.
But I'm
Whatever they
thinking,
want to do, they just got to understand what comes with that cut. And it's fine if they choose not to do it. I'm good with that.
I agree with you on that, Brian. I just think that this year, because we've got the questions out there, we know there's questions.
Yep.
And we don't know what has been said. There's been a lot of misinformation, Even on the fire department, there's been misinformation on what we're doing with that. We're just buying the land, and then we're gonna have to build a thing over there and all. That's
Yeah.
just, no, things like that are just
Yeah,
being
adds to it,
said to
yeah.
me. So, we really explain it and get right down to the nitty gritty on it. I think it would be, let them know everything. It's their money. It's all of our money.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else to come before the board?
Make a motion to close the meeting at 7:14.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.